Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the One Talk podcast. You're here with your host, Ryan McCarthy. And today we are joined by Billy Polkinghorn. Billy is a professional boxer with a pro fight record of 4-0. Billy's an absolute weapon of a bloke, but also an absolute weapon of a fighter. I guess that's why they call him the Hammer. But within today's episode, we touch on Billy's boxing career, how he got into it, his mission and aspirations within boxing. And also, we have a reflection on all the fights that Billy's had, which is over 150. He's had a lot of amateur fights, but also his professional career so far has been amazing. His last 3 fights have been in quick succession. And we touch a lot on just boxing, life, and even football as well for all our English listeners. In other news, every month on the One Talk podcast, we feature a new GoFundMe to be featured on the podcast to bring awareness to someone in need. And November's GoFundMe is for Kalani. And Kalani is needing support with her recovery and getting back to wellness. She, in October, suddenly started to experience seizures, which then ended up with Kalani being in a coma. And Kalani's needing support with her recovery and journey back to wellness. And also, one more thing before we get into today's episode, if you could please leave this podcast a rating. It means so much in terms of helping this podcast grow, but also reaching a larger audience. So if you're on Spotify or Apple, if you could leave a rating. If you're on YouTube, if you could subscribe and leave a thumbs up, it would mean so much, and it's highly appreciated. But without further ado, let's welcome Billy.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. The marathon continue. Victory lap tonight, though. Victory lap tonight.
Welcome to the One Talk podcast with Ryan McCarthy.
The marathon continues. That's what you would say.
Billy Polkinghorn, welcome to the One Talk podcast, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me.
No worries at all. Man, you've been active. The last, is it 3 months? You've had 3 fights or 4 months?
Yeah, it's been 3 fights for 3 months. It's great, you know, because we just had a year layoff, a few injuries. Actually, the last 2 years, it's just been real up and down.
Yeah.
Like just the inconsistencies, not through my training. It's just been sidelined with a few hand injuries. But you know, getting these 3 fights in the last 3 months, it's almost put that behind me now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, especially that second fight coming back in, felt more back at home. I felt comfortable in the ring. Felt like, okay, this is, you know, I'm picking up where I left off.
Yeah. Do you think that first fight getting back into was a bit more shaking off nerves, or what do you think it was?
I wouldn't say shaking off the nerves. I'd say more gelling with a new team, sort of trying to, you know, see things through Benny's eyes, because, you know, he's got his, you know, he's a professional coach.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been, my last coach I was with was for 5 years. He's an amateur coach. I'm not saying he's not a good coach, but saying professional, amateur. Yeah. They're 2 different sports. Yeah. You know, professional and amateur boxing. So it was understanding that it's different in the pros, not just, you know, go out there. We're doing 3-minute rounds. Yeah, 3-minute rounds, 3 rounds. So it's almost like you just go. Yeah. You know, it's more of a slower pace. You're setting things up. You know, you're setting traps, and yeah, just more gelling with Benny, understanding like how he wants things to look, and so yeah, no, it was good to get that one out of the way, and then it was good to get the second one, and then the third one. You know, each fight for me feels like it's coming together more. You know, we can have them conversations when we go back into the corner end of the round. You know, it's not just him saying things to me. I can say things to him too. So, you know, ask questions and he gives me an answer, or vice versa. He can ask me a question saying, what you seeing? I can say this, and he goes, okay, let's go to boom, boom, boom. You know.
How important is that too, like having someone that you can communicate with so you both can get the full picture? So I feel like it would be so hard if you had a coach that was just like a dictator telling you what to do and you didn't have an input. But I feel like in a fight, you may see a couple of things that they're not seeing, and them from the outside can see a few things that you're not seeing and be able to communicate together. I feel like it's a good recipe.
Yeah, it's I think it comes down to what kind of boxer you are. Like, I think for me, I've had 200 fights now, and I feel like in them 200 fights, you know, I've really understood how I interpret things, you know, or how I can break things down. And what's best for me. And for me, I feel like it's talking, getting an understanding, make sure we both are on the same wavelength. Some boys, they don't need to do that. Some boys can just be told what to do, and they're like, okay, I'll just go out there and do what I need to do, or what I've been told to do. And I think for me, it's good having that because it's another set of eyes. He can see things I can't see. He's on the outside of the ring. I can just see things that are like 6 inches from me. Some other bloke in my face. Yeah. He can see things from afar. So I think it's important, and I think that like this time next year, just with the trajectory that it's going with me and Benny, like how well we're gelling, is I think we're just going to keep seeing improvements. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and you can definitely see it with the fights that you're having as well, like the improvements that you're having, and also just your conditioning looks really good too. Especially like fighting so many fights within a short period of time, and your conditioning is staying good. But it also makes me wonder as well, especially from an outsider who's not in the boxing world, like what is it like going from fight to fight so quick? I know you would have done it in amateurs, but what's the difference like with the pros?
Well, I think like when I first turned pro, the idea, like I think boys, probably a lot of boys too, would have like this idea in their head that you're going to get like an 8-week training camp, so you can really prepare for it. Then you get a bit of time off. Then you get another 8-week camp to prepare for another fight. Early on, it's just almost like getting the numbers. You just got to be ready, because you're trying to get your name out there. You're trying to get your face recognised by the public. Because at the end of the day, that's it's a business. You got to put bumps in seats. So yeah, it's just like you got to just take the opportunities. I believe. Like once I had my first fight, I flew back to Perth to see some family. And I was there for about 3 weeks, still training, because I just knew that something can pop up. Things fall through. Yeah. People pull out. They need someone to fill in. And I got a call from my manager Glenn, and it was like 10 days before the Nikita Cohen Mazudia fight down in Sydney. Saying, Bill, I know it's a bit of a late notice, but do you want to fight in 10 days' time? And I said, oh, definitely. Because I know. The opportunities that come with it, it's not just like, get a payday, it's the exposure, getting your face on TV, you box good, you can get a new fan base, because obviously Nikita's bringing all these boys or guys and girls to this arena. Maybe you can, get on the back end of that, and get some momentum off of his success. Yeah. And it did, I feel like I boxed well that day. And we had Sean Porter, the commentator, there, and he said like really good things. And I think you just got to take these opportunities, and know that I feel like early on that you're not going to always feel 100%. You're not going to get like the perfect camp. You just got to try and be as ready as you can.
It's like doing the best you can with what you got in the moment.
Definitely.
Because I've never actually thought about it like that. Like it'd be like a business and marketing, like. You're not just getting yourself more experience and trying to get wins under the belt. You're actually marking yourself on the big cards as well, getting exposure. And like you said, commentators saying good things about you, but then also other people's fan bases being able to merge and become a supporter of you. Because that's how I first got involved with like starting to watch your fights and becoming a fan of you, was because of your fight that you had on Liam Wilson's card. So when I watched your fight, I was like, who's this guy? Absolute weapon. And then I started watching more of your fights from that, and I was like, oh, this guy's serious.
Yeah, and I feel like the 3 fights we had, the 2 have all like been all different styles, Like I feel like that one in Sydney, I remember coming back after like the second or third round, and Benny was saying, what do you want to do? Do you want to keep boxing like nice and clean, or do you want to go there for the stoppage? And I think for me, after having all that time out, I was very happy with the rounds, like feeling comfortable, and I feel like as the rounds went by, I was feeling more at home in the ring. And then my last fight down in Melbourne, we went out there and we just put the boy away, show the power, show what we can do. And like really,
second round?
That was second round, yeah. And so, I feel like, each fight's been a different style, and I feel like, I don't know, I'm hoping for this next one. I'm hearing potentially December time. I just want to like blend them all together, and just do like show like a refined style, like a bit of everything. Hopefully we can get like more rounds too, maybe like a 6 or an 8 rounder. Then you can really just like demonstrate all your skills and all your tools.
Yeah, because is it with boxing, there's like different rounds. You kind of, I guess, tailor it different to your own style depending on the fight you're coming up against. Because I can imagine it'd be pretty hard to predict how they're going to come out. Like you can watch their tapes and watch their previous fights, but they may come out with something new. Is it more so like once you get in the ring, you just kind of observe the situation and react to it?
Yeah, I think a big thing is you got to be. I think a big thing is if you want to be successful in boxing, in the amateurs or the pros, is you got to be adaptable. You know, you're not going to know much about certain boys sometimes. Like the last one in Melbourne, I didn't know much about him. I knew he had like a few like Muay Thai fights. So I knew he was going to be tough. Yeah. But you know, all I knew was he was southpaw. So you know, you got to use a portion of the round just to try and figure him out. Yeah. You know, try and win the round, but not do too much, and then maybe come back to the corner and speak to your coach and say, "This is what I'm seeing. What do you think?" Yeah. And then he might relay like, "Yeah, I think you're right. This is what we're saying. Let's try this." Or you might say, "What do you think?" And I'll say, "Oh, you know what? Let's try and get like glove to glove with him, or try and put him away, or let's just chip away at him." You know, he's got to be like just versatile, very adaptable, I believe.
It's true though, because like if you look at some of the greats' careers as well, like one of them is Floyd Mayweather. Like the first half of his career is very attacking fighter, but then when his hands started to get broken and he's got a bit more, I guess, weakness in his hands, he became more of a defensive fighter. Then became one of the best to ever do it in that sense. But it just shows like being able to sharpen your knife from all different edges can literally serve you in a bigger purpose, because you know where you're going to be in 5 years. But then if you're constantly working on different things now, imagine the fighter you're going to be in 5 years.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you got to fight accordingly. You know, and that Floyd is the best to do it. Yeah. I believe. You know, he fights accordingly. He couldn't go out there and fight how he used to fight by, you know, putting his power punches together like he could. But now he became a defensive master. Yeah.
So I remember the first time I found out about Floyd Mayweather was his fight with Ricky Hatton. So I remember in England, like Ricky Hatton was just the biggest thing going. I remember he had this fight with Floyd Mayweather, and my dad and that loved boxing, and we watched the fight. I remember sitting there like, who's this guy? Like, he's an absolute weapon. Yeah. But like ever since then, I started watching Floyd, and I personally think he's the greatest of all time. But just watching him in his career as well, and just how he's adapted is just a prime example.
Did you watch that one back in England, or would you been over here in Australia when you watched?
I was in Australia.
Oh, you was in Australia? Yeah. See, I was back in England, so I stayed up till like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And as soon as they started the ring walk, I fell asleep. Yeah. And I woke up, I was like, oh, what's happened? And it was over. Yeah. It was when he got knocked out. And Rick Hatton was like my first, like he was the first guy that I watched that I was a fan of. Yeah. So to see that, I was like, I'll get you back. I'll get him back for you. Don't worry, Rick.
I got you.
But obviously I didn't, wasn't good with numbers because, Floyd is much older than me.
Yeah.
And he's also retired.
What other fighters did you grow up watching? Because even myself, like I remember the first tapes I watched, my dad used to have VHS tapes, and there was Sugar Ray and Mike Tyson. I remember we used to just watch that at dinner, like just on repeat instead of TV. But for you, like, what were some like early fighters that you got into?
I think I remember the first boxing fight I watched, which was live, was actually 2004 Amir Khan in Athens Olympics. I think it was when he fought in the semi-finals, and then he fought Kindlin, the Cuban, in the finals, and he lost. But still, to be able to achieve that at age 17 is
massive.
I think he was the only one from Team GB to go to the Olympics too. Could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But still, 17 to get silver at the Olympics is crazy. Losing to Kindlin too, who's he ain't no slouch.
Yeah.
He was a great boxer. But yeah, he was the first one. I remember watching Joe Calzaghe too. I was a fan of Joe Calzaghe because he just threw so many punches, and he wasn't a big puncher. I think he had the same situation too, like bad hands, and knew he had to fight accordingly. And his one was volume. He just put so much volume into it. I remember watching him when he fought Bernard Hopkins and Roy Jones.
Yeah.
And then retired undefeated, 48-0.
That's an incredible feat. Like 48-0, Mayweather's 50-0. And some of the records that you see out there, it's just insane.
Yeah. I'll tell you who I was a big fan of. I still am a big fan of. Was Chris Eubank Senior.
Yeah, I remember Chris Eubank. Yeah.
Yeah, Senior. Big fan of him. Watched his documentary again the other week.
Yeah.
If anyone's got some spare time, I recommend watching the Chris Eubank documentary.
I'll have to check it out. I've always just been a fan of how he talks as well, and how he portrays himself as he seems like a very articulate person.
I believe he's a warrior. Yeah, I think it's his mindset too. You know, I think mindset's a big thing too. So I don't know. It's hard. You can't model it off someone. You know, I feel like you have to figure out yourself. You know, but you know, listen to him speak, like how he thinks about boxing and how it has to be. Like, I think he has a high respect for boxing. Yeah, and I think a lot of people just listen to him and think he just sounds funny because of the way he talks. But if you actually listen to what he says when he talks about boxing, I think a lot of it's very true. Yeah,
definitely. And like for yourself, man, when it comes to boxing and mindset, when do you think was the first time you started to realize that how important mindset is behind boxing?
Yeah, I think it's hard. You know, I think a big thing for me is trying to have a consistent mindset, like a positive, consistent mindset towards boxing. You know, and just having like, I'm gonna do some quotation, like a winning mindset. You know, I think when I say a winning mindset, it's not I think about winning. It's just thinking about everything I can do, like do well, like. Even like outside training, just everything I feel like I'm doing is I'm doing it for a reason to contribute to my boxing, because I think it's going to refine me and make me into a perfect boxer. Yeah. You know, I'd say perfect boxer. I use that term loosely. I'm never going to become a perfect boxer, but it's just the idea of how I see myself as an individual, and you know, that's what I'm striving for. That's what I'm trying to get to. I may never get there, but it's like that's what I'm aiming for. Like that's the trajectory. So it's like I'm always trying to chase that. And I think that's probably my mindset, and I think, you know, that also comes down to confidence too. You know, a lot confidence is a big thing for people, and I don't think you can tell someone to be confident. You know, like I'm not sure what you think about that.
I'm the same. You can't like stare in the mirror and tell yourself you're confident. I think it's more so of the results from your actions. Once you do something enough times and you start getting results from it, I feel like that's where confidence comes from.
Yeah, and I think, you know, after having so many fights, doing like big competitions here, big fights there, I have a standard where I feel like, okay, if I want to be confident, I know I've got to do all this training to get that, and that's where I feel most confidence, because I know I've done all the groundwork. You know, I've done all, you know, I built a foundation for me to get here in the ring. Yeah. I think that's where confidence comes from. I don't need to say, yeah, I'm confident. I just know I'm confident because I know I've put all the hard work in. Yeah. You know, if that sounds pretty vague, I apologise.
No, I get what you mean, because it's like if you give something your all in every aspect, because like you said, you're doing everything within boxing, outside of boxing, to make sure you can get to your goals. And if you're constantly controlling the controllables and you're focusing on all that, you're doing it to your best of your ability. When it comes to like fight night or performance night, depending on whatever anyone does, like I feel like that's when you are confident, when you know you've given it your all.
Yeah, I think it's almost like when, like I know when I felt most confident, it's like negativity doesn't enter my mind. It's when I say that, you know, it's just like I just know I'm like focused on the job. You know, I just know what I need to do. I know what needs to be done, and it's not meaning like I know I'm gonna win. I'm just fixated on the task of what needs to be done. Like if I put a plan in together, for me myself, I'd love to do a lot of like visualization. Yeah, you know, seeing what the boy could do and like how I'd counter that, and I know I can do what I can see in my mind because I've trained for it. Yeah, you know, so it's just, you know, it's the best feeling, you know, especially when you go into competition, because you know you've got such a big spread and it makes it hard to be beaten, because you know it's almost like you've got an answer for whatever they can do. Yeah,
I think visualization is one of the most underrated practices that we can do. Like, there's been so much research done there to prove that it's a thing and can add so many benefits to actually manifest the things that we want. There was actually, I'll show you this study I was reading. So a group of scientists come together and they got 3 groups of 10 people to shoot basketballs from the free throw line. So the first group of 10 people, they said, do no physical practice, do no visualization, come back in 30 days, we'll see your progress. The second group of 10, they said, do physical practice only for 30 days, every day, come back in 30 days. The third group of 10, they said, do visualization practice only every single day, come back and we'll examine how much progress you've had. At the end of the 30 days, all 3 groups came back. The group who did no physical or visualization basically rated the same. the team that did the physical practice only had a 27% improvement. Then the team that did the visualization practice only had a 26% improvement. It's only 1% behind the team that actually did the physical stuff. So can you imagine putting the two together and the results you can get?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's you know, training in the gym is very important, but you got to train the mind too.
Yeah.
You know, because if you got an attitude, if you got like a losing attitude, you know, like you know, as soon as it's not going your way, like you know, or even for me too, is going into a fight and having no safety nets. You know, when I say a safety net, is like, I lost because I had a bad ankle, or I had a sore hand. That's why I went like. It's like if you get in the ring, there's no safety net. That's why I believe, you know, you just need to go in there. You just got to do all you can to get the win. You know, because I don't know, it's like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes you could be in a situation mid-fight and you could be thinking to yourself, you know what? We'll just take the loss today. You know, it's the hand. I didn't get the full training. You know, but I don't know if the other boy got into the ring and he's got these injuries going on himself. So it's just no safety nets. You know, it doesn't do you any favors.
Yeah, I'm with you there too, because I feel like if you like finish something, anything in life, and you lose, and you try and use excuses, I don't feel like you like learn or grow from it. But instead, if you reflect back on yourself and you're like, oh, I could have done this, I bet I could have done this, even though I had this. It doesn't matter. Like, what can I learn from this experience? Because if you go straight to excuses, I find you can kind of just dismiss the lessons that come from it.
Yeah, I think, like, I'm not saying I've never made an excuse in my life, you know, but I think it's good to, if you do make an excuse, you know, you be honest with yourself and like, you know what, okay, I'm making an excuse, that's on me, like, you know, and what could I have done better? I know, or I know what to do next time, you know, because it does help you.
And that's it too, because I think that probably is one of our initial reactions, is to like find a way to be a victim or to look for an excuse. But like you said, it's like find a way to pull yourself out of that mindset. And that's one of the good things about having a good team around you too, because if you do get low or you do, you know, start feeling like that, you have people around you to pick you back up.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's so important to have a great team. Yeah,
definitely, especially like down at All Stars, you know, that no one's sugarcoating it, you know, not because they don't care, you know, we're all just here, we're here to win, you know, like every boy that I train with, we're there to win, you know, we all want the same thing, and we all want the same thing for each other, you know, so like we did train the other day and we was talking about what do we do well, like individually, you know, I'd be talking to like Liam saying like, Liam, this is what you do well, this is what you not do well, so we know. And then he would say the same thing back to me, Bill. Like, oh, Bill, I think you do this too much. I think this is real good. This ain't so good, you know. Yeah. And now we're, you know our weaknesses and our strengths, you know. Otherwise, you know, he could be like, oh, Bill, you get caught with this shot all the time, and he'd not tell me, and then he could just keep doing it, you know. Yeah. It's like we're working together as a team because we all want the same thing. We all want success.
Because we all need feedback in life, don't we? Especially when you are a professional fighter and being in a gym where it's full of killers. Like I had Hayden here the other day, came with Benny, and also had Liam here the other week as well. And it's incredible, like the breed of fighters that are coming out of that gym. Yeah,
you know, and I think it's a special gym. You know, there's nothing flash there. You know, we're in the shed. Yeah. And it's just the attitude that's in the gym. You know, there's no fancy equipment. It's just boxing bags, a few weights, and a ring. Yeah. You know, it's just the ideas that come out that gym.
Like when you came from WA, like how did you know that was a gym for you when you moved here?
Benny was the first bloke I called, so I just missed out on the Olympics, like the Olympic qualifiers, because I had to get some hand surgery. And my manager just had to retire, you know, due to some health reasons. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to fall back on now, because I was like, okay, I've missed out on the Olympics. Yeah. Hand surgery, I'll get a hand surgery, get a hand fixed. I'll just come back for the pros. But then the manager had to call it a day, unfortunately. Yeah. So I was like, man, I'm starting from ground zero again. Where do I go? So I probably spent a week sulking. Like, I don't know what to do. And then I just gave Benny a call. I sent him a message and said, hey, can I give you a call at some point? He said, yeah, sure. Here's my number. And I think I left it for a few days, and he messaged me saying, when you calling? So I was like, now. And so I just called him and just explained the situation. I was like, look, this is where I'm at. This is what's happened. I was like, I don't know where to go to now. Yeah. And he was like, would you want to come over? I said, I'll do anything, like I'll do anything like just to make it work. Like I think that's the thing too, is the attitude of like you got to just try and make it work. Even if it's something you don't want to do. Like I don't want to leave Perth. My family and friends all live in Perth.
Yeah.
So to leave all them behind is it's not great. I'm going somewhere where I don't know anyone.
Because like, did you ever come to Brisbane beforehand or?
Just for boxing.
Yeah. Okay.
Box down Acacia Ridge.
Yeah.
And back on the plane and fly home.
Yeah.
So he's like, come. Liam and Vegas, they were training for. That was in a camp. That was training end of the year, big fight end of the year for both of them. So I was like, just watch them operate. I was like still in like a splint, so I couldn't do no training. I was fine with that. I just wanted to see them train, how they operate, the chemistry between like Benny and the boys, and see like could I see myself fitting in there, like flowing with them as well. So there's no point in me saying I'll come move over, and we just don't gel. Yeah, I don't want to waste his time. I want to waste my time. So yeah, it was. I came, watched them, and then I think it was like I watched a few sparring sessions, a few training sessions. I was like, I think this is the place for me, And I know Benny's a good coach because I met him when I was about 16, 17 down in Canberra, down at the RAS, and just going on the pads with him, talking to him about boxing. I knew he was, he had a good attitude as well. Like he wanted to keep learning. He wants to know more. Yeah, Benny's he's got a good boxing brain, and he knows that. There's some coaches who think like, I know everything, whereas he feels like, I'm not going to say he doesn't know anything, but he knows that there's still more to learn. Yeah, he's like as much as a student as he is like the master or professor. Yeah, he's always got new ideas coming through. I could be doing like my S&C work, and I'll get a call from like midway through like a set. And he goes, Bill, I'm really thinking about this idea. I've been watching your sparring. I think this could translate really well into like your game, and we'll try it tomorrow and like on the pads and then implement it in sparring. So, it's great. He's a real good coach. And he gives all the boxers there at ASB. Gives them like 100%. Yeah, definitely. Because I've heard nothing but good things about him from people that go to ASB as fathers, and also people just on the outside as well. But like when you first moved to Brisbane, you're in your splinter. I've always wondered, especially for a professional athlete, like what's the mindset of like coming from an injury, then training and come back into performance? Because even with me, I snapped my ankle and I played like football. Yeah. And even going back to play football was a bit of a challenge because I was like, I don't want to step my ankle wrong. But what's it like for a professional athlete? Yeah, it was definitely tough because like my first injury was a big one to the wrist, and they wanted to fuse my wrist together, and so I had to like weigh that up whether I was going to get the surgery or not. And in the end, I was convinced by one of my friends, like saying like, look, just get it, you'll come back in time. And then we had like the Olympics coming up, so I was like, all right, I'll just do that. It was going to put me out for 6 months. Once I get back, I'd have enough time to prepare myself. Went to the doctor and said, look, I think I'm going to get the surgery. And she actually suggested saying like, no, don't do the surgery. Just do some rehab, because once they fuse your wrist, you're going to be like pretty much like fixed in like a position, saying like you want less mobility. Yeah, you want the dexterity in your hand still. So I was like, okay. So she was like, just do the rehab. It's going to take about 5 months of rehab. And so I did it religiously every day. And then once you start throwing the punches again, it's you're real hesitant. Yeah. And I had moved up in a Division 2, so I went from 63 to 71 kilos. Yeah, well. So a lot more sting in the punches too. Yeah. But I felt very reserved with the hand. And then I got called up with the Australian team to fight in Poland. Yeah. And I was like, okay, new division, I've jumped up a couple of divisions. Let's hope for, I wouldn't say an easy fight, but, something more accommodating. Yeah. I can ease my way back into it. But the first fight I had was against Uzbekistan. And them boys out there, they're like wild animals. Yeah. I don't know, are they starving them? I don't know. They're just crazy. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to have confidence in throwing my right hand now, because he's not going to let me just poke around with the jab and like occasionally throw the backhand. Yeah, won't let you get away with it. So I feel like I got really like forced into having confidence with it. It was like, you got to throw it, otherwise you're going to get ran over. And I got through that hand. I hit the ball with a big right hand at one point, and it makes you think like, oh, are you okay? Am I okay? Is it, but. Yeah, it took a while to get over it, but I got there, and then after the surgery on the second-hand surgery, same again. You know, you just hitting pads, and you just think, man, will I ever be able to throw this with the same sting again?
Yeah.
But just do your rehab.
Yeah, because the rehab's a lot of work too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's not just sitting down and resting.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of work as well. How do you feel now? Like, do you feel
It feels
back,
great. This is
back to 100?
it feels like, honestly, like the best it's felt. Like when I had that first pro fight, it was still a bit cagey, but just got back on the hand rehabs, and they feel like just so solid now. They feel good.
Yeah.
I would say like they don't feel like I even had surgery or ever had like any issues.
Perfect.
So like the doctors, they did an absolute job on me. You know, they did real well.
It comes back to like that confidence thing too, doesn't it? Like even with injuries, you just got to get yourself back out there and put in rounds, and then you realize, oh, I'm actually okay.
Yeah, you know, I know like Benny Hussein.
Yeah,
he's just had his hand surgery. You know, and I hope that, you know, he's in the same mindset as like I was like, oh, as soon as I get this hand surgery, as soon as I get the hand fixed, you know, I'm back. Yeah, because I reckon he's a top talent as well. I reckon
definitely.
I reckon he's going to do real good things. I think a lot of boys, they're just going to struggle with his style. He's just perfected his style, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to beat. You know, he's in your face. He's a very fit guy, and man, he can work the body real well. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching him next year.
Yeah, definitely. Just as a fan as well, because I had Benny Hussein in the other week, and he was showing me his hand, and I was speaking to him. So I was just curious about what fighters do when they're injured. And he was like, I'm still running all the time and staying fit. Were you doing the same as well when you had your splinter and stuff, just running, doing tracks? Like, how do you stay fit when you are injured?
Yes, I was part of like the Western Institute of Sport back in WA. So that's like your equivalent to like QAS. Yeah, they just tailor your program. You know, they like, oh yeah, like, oh, you've had surgery. Oh, we can still work on everything else.
Yeah,
you know, getting the body strong, keeping you fit. So yeah, there's plenty of things for me to do. It's not like I had to go to the gym and just punch the bag one hand, you know, because it's what we want to do. We want to keep hitting things, you know, keep hitting the bag, staying sharp with your left hand, but you just end up overworking your one side anyways. So you better just like, it's getting like nice and conditioned. And then,
you don't want just one strong arm, do you?
Like, be like lopsided. But there's plenty of things to do. So they looked after me well, you know, so that was good.
Yeah. So are you planning to, like, is your goal for the end of this year, have one more fight and just finish the year off with 4 fights?
Yeah. Well, I'd like to fight as much as possible, but I think the plan is for one more fight end of the year. And so I'm happy to just, compress everything into like this and like really, really push for a big performance end of the year. You know, like not just get a win, like really like showcase everything we got. You know, I think like I said before, them 3 fights have been 3 different fights. I want to show like all them ones just into one fight where we pick the boy apart. Yeah. And then start putting the power shots in there and then getting the boy out there too. Yeah.
And in that way it feels like it'd be more of a big statement for yourself as well. Come back from injury, being 4 fights, 4 wins, which would be a statement.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And for yourself, like what weight do you feel best at usually, like when you do fight at the moment since coming up?
Well, like I said, like last year we was fighting at 71. You know, and I was just eating everything that I could get my hands on, which was great because I spent my whole life making weight. Yeah. So the reason why I went up to 71 was because I was like, I don't want to be like making weight, you know, putting stress on the body while I'm still trying to repair the hand. So I was like, I'm just gonna just eat good food, and you know, keep doing hand rehab and get the body nice and strong and see how we feel. Yeah. But since then, I think naturally I'm a lighter guy. Yeah. You know, so when I go back to my usual eating routine, I sort of walk around like 67, 66. Yeah. So I've been competing down at 63.5, which is junior welter. But got a meeting with a dietitian on Monday, saying like what's achievable, what's not. Because I eat well, but you could definitely be cleaned up. So we're getting a dietitian on board now. So potentially lightweight. Yeah, just doing whatever you can to like get yourself in full condition as well as your career progresses at this stage as well. Like you said, it's all the things you're doing outside of boxing, like the little tweaks here and there, getting a dietitian, nutrition involved, and see like what little extras you can do to improve that side of yourself. Yeah, definitely. I think you know, I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a smart guy. Yeah. So it's you know, I can just rely on them. These guys have done like all the study. You know, they've done all the research. So You know, I got a DEXA scan the other week. I just show them my results. They can put a food plan together. I show them like, hey, this is my training routine. This is my training regime. This is what I'm doing. This is what my sleep's like. You just tell me what to eat and like when to eat, and I'll follow that to like perfect. You know?
Yeah, and delegation can be something that a lot of people struggle with. I know when I first started this podcast, like being able to delegate things for the podcast was so challenging for me. And I realized when I wasn't delegating like the editing and the content and getting other people involved to help me, it wasn't growing. Yeah. Then once I actually was like, no, these people actually are specialized in certain things. Let them deal with this. Let them deal with this. That's when I started to see growth. And I think it'd be the same with boxing too. Yeah. It's like, well, these are the professionals in their own right with what they do. Let them handle it.
It's like for me, like probably over the last few years is more of like a team mindset. You know, I think like, who can I allocate this job to? Like, not when I say like, you know, like, oh, I can just palm this off to. It's like, get them involved too. You know, like if it's like, help me with my scheduling, or like dietitian, help me with like my diet, you know. You know, I know it's like boxing's like my thing, but you know, I've got to be open to help from others too, to grow as a boxer.
So that's like a team in the community, eh? Yeah. And also with yourself, man, I wanted to ask you this at the start, but I forgot. But I want to know with yourself, like growing up, is it Essex?
Essex.
Yeah, so growing up in Essex, because I know for me, from being from Liverpool, it shaped a lot of, like, I guess, who I am and built a lot of characteristics in me and, I guess, values that I hold till today. Yeah. Is it similar with you coming from Essex? Like, do you have certain values from, I guess, from where you live to where you are now?
I don't know. Honestly, when I was in Essex, I was there for the first 16 years of my life. I don't think I had any thoughts in my head at all. I think I was just on autopilot. Like, I really enjoyed, like, growing up in Essex. It was just like, I was just having fun every day.
Yeah.
You know, and then to come to Australia, I think that's probably when I was like sort of thought, okay, I've got like an opportunity to like reinvent myself.
It's like a big change.
Yeah, you know, start using my brain. You know, don't just I don't know, use my own thoughts. You know, don't just do whatever I feel like doing. You know, like actually think, you know that whatever I do has consequences. You know, not just think like everything's just like a big playground. I think probably that's like value-wise, I think it was actually probably boxing that probably gave me the most values, like being away from my family over like long periods of time. I remember being in Northern Ireland, and it was the camp before the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah. How old were you at the time?
25. Yeah. You know, 25, so it took me a while to start using my brain.
Still young, brother.
But you know, I was away for like 2.5 months, and at the time, and it was like a couple of weeks before the Com Games like started, and I caught COVID, so I was unsure if I was actually going to go, and then just being isolated in that room, you know, just like just like some like uni accommodation, you know, nothing flash. Had a desk, single bed, but just being there, like. Obviously, I can't talk to anyone. No one can come in, you know, say hello to me. But I just think, like, who do I turn to? And it's my family, you know, talking to my mum and dad, telling them the situation. I think that really made me think of, you know, valuing just, having more value for my family, because I don't know, I think growing up with my family, they're always there, you know, like my mum and dad are always there. And then being away from them, I think that, you know, shows, like, you know, you can appreciate it more, because you know what people say, you know, you don't appreciate things until it's gone. Yeah. And I think like me being gone for like a long period of time made me think like, oh, you know, I need to spend more time, or you know, just put a bit more effort in instead of just being worried about myself and the boxing. You know, think what I can contribute to the family. You know, instead of just being like, oh, I'll just take, you know, because you know they've done everything for me to make sure I could box. Yeah. You know, so you know any time I can give back, you know, I try to give back instead of just being a, you know, taker, sort of just share what I can.
I feel like usually we feel best when we are, you know, in service of others and helping other people, especially for the people we care about.
Yeah. And you know, just doing it without even like
expectation.
Yeah. You know, I'm not expecting like for them to even say thank you. You know, they don't need to say thank you. In my mind, I think it's just, you know, I need to do it. You know, I should be doing it. You know,
It also makes sense as well, like you're talking about that, like when you move to Brisbane or maybe in Australia in some sense, like you started to look for the right people to get around you because it seemed like that family unit was so important to you, that community. Yeah. So when you moved here, you knew what you were looking for in different aspects.
Yeah. I'll tell you, like down at All Stars, it's it's almost like a family too. You know, I'm like the caretaker on the showground at the moment.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So
like the gym's like 50 meters away from me. So like when I'm not like, you know, doing bits and pieces, you know, I'd just walk past the gym and there were like 20 kids there. They'd be sparring, but you know, I'll talk to the mum and dads. You know, I'll talk to the kids too. You know, like, oh Bill, how you going? You know, it's very family oriented. You know,
that's so good.
Yeah, no, it's great. That is like the best gym.
You want it to be family orientated too, because like I just signed up to a gym recently down the road. It's a family owned gym as well. I just love going there because when you go there, it's not like a generic gym where you go in, everyone's just to themselves doing their own thing, and like that's fine too. But I think if you are the type of person that seeks community, I think it's important to find a community that is open like that.
Yeah. Did you box much yourself too or no?
No, so not like in
Smart.
a gym. So what my dad used to do, he used to throw gloves at me and my brother and say fight.
That works too.
Yeah. So like my dad's massive with boxing, like he loves it. Like it was his life as well growing up. Then me and my brother, we never went to a gym, but he used to always just get us to fight in the back garden and show us what to do and all this type of stuff. But for me growing up, like I just love football, so that was my main focus. It was like rather boxing or football, and I always chose football.
How do you think Liverpool going to do this year?
Oh, hopefully win.
Top of the table at the moment.
Top of the table. We're actually doing really well, but we do have a few tough games coming up now because we had a bit of an easier start, I'd say. But I guess it was good to build some momentum.
Yeah, just watch out when you come up against West Ham. It'll come undone.
You West Ham supporter?
I am.
Yeah. Well, at least you're not Chelsea. That's fine.
That's why. Like, it was actually my manager. He called me the Hammer because
because West Ham. Right, that makes sense.
So I was like, I'm a Hammers fan. He goes, oh, maybe I'll just call you the Hammer then. I was like, if you want, Glenn.
Yeah. How do you think West Ham will go this season?
New manager, few good signings.
I like the team. Paqueta's a beast.
Yeah. We go through lapses where we're looking real good and then look like we just switch off and then like we'll do 20 minutes of like, oh my God, playing beautifully. And then, you know, I don't know. I think as long as someone doesn't come in and try and like take them players, because there's a few stars in there, I reckon.
Yeah, there is.
So if we can just have time to gel, maybe not this season, but the following season, I reckon we can start climbing.
Yeah.
On the table.
It's doable because like you see the likes of like Newcastle, Brighton, Villa, like the rise they've had lately too. Like it's been massive. Yeah. Even definitely. Tottenham, like they've had a bit of an improvement. Like they had a bumpy season last season. I feel like there's a bit of improvement with Ange being in there.
I was really surprised with Villa.
Yeah.
Last season, Villa did really well. You know, now looking at the Champions League this year.
Yeah, unreal. And like they're a tough team to beat as well. I was devastated when Gerrard got the boot from there, but when Emery got signed and then he started picking up form, it was like it's good to see like a different team competing. And it's always good seeing Manchester drop, so I was stoked with that.
Yeah, you're right. He did real well when he was managing. What was it up in Scotland? Rangers. Yeah, did a whole undefeated season.
Yeah, undefeated, and I think he won the 55th title as well.
Yeah, good on him.
Yeah, were your whole family Hammer supporters, or
I've got my mum over here. She's nodding her head.
Yeah,
they are.
Growing up in Liverpool, it was rather red or blue. So Liverpool, Everton, and when I was like a young kid, I started supporting Everton because my granddad was a massive Everton fan. And I used to always go to games, and I was like 4 years old. And then when I moved to Australia, because I was only like 7, 8 years old, I was like 50-50 with Liverpool, Everton. I remember when I started to watch Liverpool, like it was the only thing that I watched that made me feel like I was home. Yeah. So I was like, right, well, Liverpool's my team then.
Yeah. I had a couple rough seasons now, Everton, haven't they?
Yeah, nearly getting relegated a couple of times.
Yeah, you don't want to see that. It's one of the like main teams. You know, it's like if you see like Liverpool get relegated, like it's just part of the Premier League. You know, it's like one of the just them stable teams. You know.
Exactly, and as a Liverpool fan too, like I want those 6 points every season from them, so I want them to stay up.
Definitely, 100%. You know.
Did you grow up playing football?
Yeah, I was useless at it.
Yeah.
I was great in training. Yeah, I was like a superstar in training.
What position were you in training?
Oh, honestly, they would put me like either up on the right wing or a striker because I feel like I had a bit of pace about me, but I never enjoyed it. I enjoyed like being like a right back or a centre back. I like the game being in front of me. Yeah. You know, but maybe I should have like voiced my opinion more. I sort of just did whatever I got told to do. Yeah. And until I came to Australia, when I came to Australia, I stopped playing. It was far too hot outside. Yeah.
That's why I stopped, because when I moved to Australia, like I played for a good team in Adelaide, but I moved up here. It's so hard to find like teams that compete at like a decent level. So I kind of just put it to the side and didn't really focus on it as much.
Yeah, they're real big on the NRL here.
NRL,
too,
yeah.
they're massive over it.
Yeah, because I remember when we first moved over here, my dad's like, jump on the internet and find like a football team to support over here. I was like, yeah, all right. So I typed in football in Australia, and a team called West Tigers come up, and I'm thinking it's like soccer football.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll support West Tigers. Moved here and I realised it's not football. Like, it's a completely different sport. And I was like, oh, I guess West Tigers my rugby team now, but that's a bit of a sad turn because they're not good at the moment either.
We've got Tass here. Tass, he's a big Broncos fan.
Oh no. I hate the Broncos. No.
Who do you go for?
Oh, I go for Parramatta.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's why I've kind of just tuned out with the NRL lately. Like ever since, because when I moved here, I think West Tigers won it in 2005. It's like, I actually chose a good team, and then ever since, it's just been downhill.
It's just, wooden spoon.
Yeah, literally.
I'm waiting for West Ham to win the league now. It's been a tough life supporting them, but the time will come.
But it was good like a couple of years ago seeing them win the Europa.
Yeah,
that was
Europa,
massive, eh?
Yeah.
Win European Cup.
We missed the final.
Yeah, it done something Arsenal couldn't do. So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, it was good seeing him win like the European Cup. Obviously, I don't think we're not in any European leagues tournaments this year, which is good. I guess we can just focus on the league.
yeah, and I think like getting some more depth in the squad and integrating players as well.
I think that's a big thing too. Just getting depth in the squad. Like see Man City, like the whole bench could be a first team.
Yeah, literally.
It's getting mad. So especially with like more subs now, they got like more. How many subs can you do now? It's like just roll
Five,
up.
I think. Yeah, five. Yeah.
Roll out like half a new team now.
Literally like a whole new attack if you're not scoring goals. It's madness.
After 60 minutes, you get a new like set of fresh legs on there. Like, yeah, that's why you've seen like so many late goals now. I feel like.
Yeah, because you're actually getting like 5 new players on. Who've got full energy in the 80th minute. Run the tired defenders.
Every week there's like, if it's a close game, you always see the 92nd minute. You always see like either late equaliser or a goal winner now.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, seeing that every week. I felt like when I was younger, maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but it was like, I don't know, it felt more rare.
Yeah, it did. Especially with VAR and stuff now too, because so many stuff gets ruled out.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
But we used to see that a lot on the clock, like in his last 2 seasons, like late minute goals. But that's because like 88th minute will come and he'll just put on the riggy and just hope for the best.
What are you thinking about VAR?
Actually, I like it, but they need to like find one set of rules and stick with it.
Yeah.
Like they're changing it like nearly every week and trying to define it. I think at the start of the season, you need to pick, all right, this is the rules for it and stay with it for the season. Because like I think it was Declan Rice got that red card for kicking the ball away, but earlier on in the game, another player kicked the ball away but didn't get a card for it. So it's just the inconsistency, I reckon.
Yeah, the only thing I'd hate to see with the VAR is when it just slows down the game.
Yeah.
Especially when like someone scores a goal, it's almost like they celebrate, but are they really celebrating? It's got to go to VAR. Okay, it's been disallowed. I feel like it really like just takes like the atmosphere out like in the stadium too.
Yeah, it does. Because I was at Enfield. I went home last year. I was watching the game, and the game I was at was Wolves, and the first goal, like it was just like 5 minutes dead still, waiting for VAR to make a decision, and we're like cheering but not, and then nervous, and then when the goal got allowed, like we weren't even too stoked with it. It was just a relief. So.
Oh, thank God. Do you go back home often?
Yeah, so before COVID, I try and go back every couple of years. I went back last year because my wife's never been. I wanted to show England, a bit of Europe as well. But at the moment, I'm trying to go like every second year. Yeah. But it's just the flight's too long. It's the main thing. It's just a big travel.
Have you done? Oh, well, no. From Perth, you could do the direct flight from Perth to London. That's like 16.5 hours.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
It took me 9 years to actually go back the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9
I
years.
think it was the same for me. My first time it was, I'd say, 11. My first time. And ever since that, when I turned like 18, I was able to start going more frequently.
I was looking at going end of the year, like do Christmas, New Year's.
That would be good.
But now they're telling me I've got a fight now, so scrap that.
I was looking at good flights in March for next year. You can get return flights. This is to Manchester. I'm not sure it'd be same to Heathrow. But return flights are like 1,200 in March. Yeah.
It's all right. What do you think about that?
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. Like, I might go home in March because, like, usually, because when I went home last year, I think I paid 2,600 each per flight.
2,600.
Yeah, and then in March next year it's 1,200. So, yeah.
What's the weather like in March?
Yeah, who knows?
Cold.
Raining. Rain.
Very quiet summer.
Yeah.
Last time I went was in August. It was after the Com Games, and I reckon that was like the best weather they've ever had. It was so nice. It was the best weather I can remember it being in England, and I was thinking to myself, why would I ever leave? Then it pissed down the next day, and I was like, oh yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
literally. I'm very grateful to be here in Australia. You know, it's very nice.
A lot better weather because when I went home last year, it was actually March and April. And it was the same. Like it was sunny, and then 3 days later, it was snowing. Yeah, and I was like, "Where's the snow come from?"
I was like, if it's consistent, like if it's consistently raining, okay, I can handle that. But if it's like 25 and it's beautiful weather, then there's a potential hailstorm tomorrow. I'm unsure about that. You know, I don't know how you can dress for that. How am I supposed to pack for that?
Yeah, literally. At least in Australia, if it's hot, it's hot.
It's hot. It's hot.
If it's rain, it's hot. Like
it's still hot. Yeah, that's right. I can still hang my washing up.
Yeah, literally. And like, do you think about much about like fighting back in the UK, or are you pretty happy staying in Australia at the moment?
I was talking. There's a few ideas which I like. I really want the British title fight. You know, that's my favourite belt. I don't know if you've ever seen the belt.
Yeah.
That's the belt that I really want. You know, we all want to be world champions. I want to be a world champion. You know, you know, but that's more of like the status of it. Like I'm a world champion. Yeah. It's not the belt so much.
Because the boxing culture in England's massive, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm also I'm thinking, if you could get that British title fight here in Australia, could that happen? Because I'm still British. I've got a passport.
Got an accent. That helps.
I've got an accent. But if we could get that, I don't even know if it's even doable. But if you could get a British title fight here in Australia, if you could do that in Perth or here in Queensland, you know, where I've got, use this term loosely, a following, you know, but I feel like just the amount of English people we got here or British people we got here.
Oh, there's loads.
You know, I'm pretty sure there's never been a British title fight in Australia. So surely it's going to be like the first of something. And I don't know, I think it'll be a great turnout.
Yeah.
You know? And that'd be like a big tick off like in my career, you know, if I could get that British title, because that's the thing that I've wanted ever since I was a kid. Yeah. You know, just that title itself, it looks very just prestigious, you know, I just love the look of it, you know, there's something that I feel like I would happily wear around my waist. You know, you see these world titles, they look huge. I've got a small waist. It would just fall off me straight away. It would just fall down to my feet.
That would go be to actually have it in Brisbane as well.
Yeah,
like, that would be so good, because there actually is so many English people here. Like when Liverpool played in the Champions League final, I went to the casino to watch it, and like they had this big room for it. And I didn't realize how many Scousers were in Brisbane, let alone English people. Like I thought I was the only one. I saw like 50 of them. Like they're the only people I said hello to, and then I was like, damn, there's actually a lot of people over here.
That was a big thing. That's probably one of the things I do miss about fighting in England, like even in the amateurs, was atmosphere. Yeah. You know, every time we'd fight, I remember when we'd like go, when we'd fight like the West Ham show, you've got two random kids, or it could be me, but the whole room, they don't know who I am, or they know the other kid. But everyone's invested. Yeah. You know, everyone's, and it's on a Friday night, so they've chose not to go out on a Friday night just to watch boxing, you know, because they're fans of boxing.
It's the same with the darts as well. Have you seen the atmosphere for the darts in England? Yeah. Like it's just bonkers.
Yeah. I'm not even that interested in darts, but I can watch darts.
I watch the highlights just for the crowd.
I watch it for the crowd because everyone's so invested into it, and I think that's what's so good. And you know, if we could replicate that over here, I reckon it'd be a great night. Yeah.
What do you think? Like, what impact do you reckon the good crowd has on the fighter?
Oh, it can lift you up. You know, you see so many fights where, you know, boys are going into the 10th round, I look absolutely shagged, and just sound of the crowd, it almost gives them like a second wind. You know, like I haven't had to be in that situation yet because, you know, I've only done 6-round fights, you know, where I feel like I've been in control. Yeah. You know, but, you know, let's say if we do have a British title fight and you get a big turnout and the crowd's on my side, you know, I've got no doubt that, you know, if it gets tough, that they can just lift you up. You know, it's almost like playing at home. You know, if you're playing at Anfield, you know, like how hard is it to get 3 points playing there?
Literally, like even when we're losing 3-0 to Barca in the second leg, 4-0 at home, like I couldn't even believe it myself. Yeah, just because of the atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah, didn't you do like was it almost like a year and a half in the Prem where you didn't lose at home or something like that?
Yeah, it was like
I just made that up.
No, it was like a year and a half in the Prem, and then I think we lost to like a bottom 3 team.
Yeah,
eventually.
That's how it usually goes. Yeah. It's like West Ham, we'll beat Man City one week, then we'll lose to Burnley.
But it's true though, because like even now, like if Liverpool ever play at home, like I just think win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because of the atmosphere at home.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be the same with boxing, like with the atmosphere and people getting behind you. Like when I watched Hayden fight Rodriguez the other week, like he had a great atmosphere behind them. You could see it lifting them.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a big turnout too when he fought in the All-Star show. Was that beginning? No, that was end of last year. What was the beginning of this year? Regardless, he had a big turnout. Everyone, like, big turnout. If everyone's chanting, hold my beer. And I was new.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand what I was even saying at the beginning. I was like, what are you saying? But, you know, it's, yeah, you know, and that's what we all want. I feel like we all want a following.
Yeah.
You know, like we, you know, bring your people to the fights, you know.
Yeah.
And hopefully we get there. Obviously, you know, it's hard because I didn't grow up here. You know, I'm new to Brisbane too. So any fans I did have, or, you know, my friends and family, that, you know, they would come to my fights. But, you know, we're on the other side of the country now. You know, I can't expect them to just jump on a plane and fly all the way over.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully I can, you know, get a few people in Brisbane. Hopefully we can get a fight up in Brisbane and get a bit of a turnout like that.
Yeah, that'll be good. I think for your next fight, you'll have me in the background. They'll be like, pretty bubbles in the...
Yeah, it's yeah, even that's like real interesting too. Like the ring walk, you know, they really let you do what you want.
Yeah.
And yeah, like picking out a song. Yeah, I feel like what would you come out to if you had a pro fight, it's on it's televised? What would you come out to?
That's a tough one. To be honest, I know it's going to be generic for being a Liverpool supporter, but probably Never Walk Alone.
Of course.
Yeah. Or Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline.
Yeah, one of those two.
See, I feel like Sweet Caroline, they always play that before a main event, don't they now? Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's a great song, but I feel like they know that it's done well in England. Like, they always play it before the main event. So
That's true, because I saw Darren Till walk out to it, and I was like,
Yeah.
that looks hectic.
Yeah, but now I feel like, no. Are they overdoing it? Are they going to run it to the ground? I don't know.
All right, You'll Never Walk Alone. That's mine then.
I reckon... I don't know, there's a few songs, isn't there? I reckon, right, say if you was main event, you know, you're coming out second, so the boy's already in the ring. I reckon coming out Phil Collins In the Air Tonight. I reckon that'd be a big one. Real slow one, really make him wait. Yeah, and then let's say like you're behind the curtain, and then when the drums drop, then you make your entrance.
Well, did you ever watch WWE?
Yeah, of course.
So Undertaker. Come on to some Undertaker.
No.
Dong.
Or I think Insomnia, but was it Faithless? Yeah, I think I could do that too. You know that one?
Yeah, no, I haven't heard that one.
What?
Yeah, maybe if you sing it for me.
You would know. Yeah. Go on, mum. Sing it.
You have to sing it for us.
We'll Google it after. Yeah, but no, that's what kind of music is that? Is that like a 1990s? Yeah, it's like house, I guess. Yeah.
I reckon if I heard it, it will click.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they play it like all sporting events too.
Yeah. Is it hard to pick a walkout song? Like, cause I reckon I'll be scrolling through a playlist. Like, I've got like 10 songs I want to walk out to. Like, try and make like a DJ mash or something.
Well, yeah, I think I don't know. I think you got to pick a song that I feel like suits you
In the moment.
Yeah. I think like for me, like when I did my first ring walk on No Limit, it was like 2 songs. It was it was Forever Blowing Bubbles.
Yeah.
I sort of just stood there and just stared down at the camera for like a minute 20. Not because that was planned. I just felt like that's what felt right.
Yeah.
You know, sort of just pose up in front of the camera and sort of like no emotion. You know, that's just how I felt. I feel like, you know, sharp focus, sharp ready, sharp mean business.
Yeah.
And then it merged into, what was it? Tyson.
What's up?
What song did what was my ring walk song?
Oh. Yeah. I can't remember what the song's like. I know how it goes.
Tyson boxes too, so he has a terrible memory as well.
Yeah.
Wasn't like Katy Perry or something, was it?
Oh, Freak from Desire.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and
Billy's on fire.
yeah, that's right. You know, you always hear of like Jared Bowen. Jared Bowen's on fire, so maybe I could like, you know, replicate that. Yeah, you know, I think, yeah, and even like them 2 songs I just said there too, the previous one, In the Air Tonight, and what was the other one called? Insomnia. You know, I feel like, yeah, I know. I feel like that just resonates with me. You know, I feel like it's, you know, builds the tension up. You know.
Yeah.
Whereas, like my roommate, he comes out to more like drum and bass stuff, and I feel like that just suits him. He's like persona. You know, he comes out with a lot of energy. You know.
Yeah.
He shows a lot of energy. I feel like I'm more more reserved. It's like it's more mysterious. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just So I think you got to get a song that reflects you, and I think a good song can definitely, I don't know, just really set the scene.
Yeah, exactly. And it also helps you get in like a certain mindset too, doesn't it? Like switch.
Builds suspense too, I think. So that's why I was curious to know what you would come out to.
Yeah, I reckon You Never Walk Alone, but it probably depends. Like, because if I'm more hyped on like focused, I probably wouldn't want like a slow song, but then also like it may calm the nerves as well. So I don't know, maybe I have to do like a corporate fight and test myself.
But saying that too, I feel like whatever song I do come out to, I have to listen to it so many times that it doesn't make me feel a certain way.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
I don't want to come out to a song and let it make me feel like
A certain way, yeah.
I don't want to get too amped up because then I'm gonna go out there and not follow the plan.
Yeah.
So I've got to listen to it so many times where I'm like, it doesn't faze me in a sense because it's hard because I wouldn't say like you're holding your nerve, but in a sense it is. You don't want to let outside things affect you.
Yeah.
And coming out to one of your favorite songs, it's your favorite song for a reason. It makes you feel a certain way.
And I feel like, especially with Forever Blowing Bubbles, that's a good song to come out to because it's kind of everyone somewhat knows it because of Green Street Hooligans. Because of that movie, everyone kind of knows the song as well, so the crowd can get involved.
Oh, if you could fill a stadium and then get everyone on board singing that, then it'd be a tough ask to not feel a certain way.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially for myself, like walking out. But it's part of the game.
Yeah.
Who can hold a nerve the most?
Yeah, that's it, eh? And not slip.
Yeah, it's an interesting game. The pro boxing, you got them tiny gloves. Them gloves are 8 ounce, the ones that we wear, and it's almost like a leather mitt. You get touched up by it, and it really marks up your face.
Yeah.
Especially I'm pretty fair skin, so it shows everything.
Yeah. Sam, that's why I don't box. Too pale.
You're not missing out on anything.
That's it. It's the whole thing of just hit and not getting hit, isn't it?
Yeah. It's you almost use the gloves as your headgear. Like this is now your headgear. So you want to keep it nice and tight on your head, not give anything away because it really is just one punch. Did you see the Joshua Dubois fight a couple of weeks ago? He got caught early and I believed he couldn't recover from that.
Yeah, I rocked him.
And once again, this is just me speculating. I wasn't unsure how Joshua would do going into that fight because I think I don't think he performs his best when he fights at Wembley, when he fights in England, big stadium. I think like all the media, all the people,
especially English media, like they get on you.
I think he gets a little bit rattled to that. That's just me speculating.
Yeah.
So I've seen him fight when he fought over in Saudi Arabia, when he fought Usyk the second time. I was there for that, and the atmosphere wasn't the same. It wasn't a jam-packed stadium. There was there was loud people. But it wasn't like fighting at Wembley in front of 80,000 people. Yeah. And I thought he performed much better at that fight. He still lost, but if it was that Joshua that showed up against Dubois at that stadium, I think maybe a different story.
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel like it does create a shift for sure. Because I feel like especially in the UK, like there's so much pressure on, I guess, professional athletes and all different endeavours to like perform at an elite level. And if they don't, they get really hounded. Like football's a great example. Like someone comes to the Premier League, not have a great start, the media will be all over them. Then they go to like Italy or Germany and absolutely flourish.
Yeah. Like look at, what was his name? Like Lukaku.
Yeah.
I don't think he performed his best in the Prem. Where was he? He was at Chelsea. Then he was on loan to like West Brom. Then he was back at Chelsea. Then he got let go. Then he made it work over in Italy.
Yeah.
Who brought him back?
Napoli's got him now.
Oh, Napoli's got him.
He's at Napoli now. Yeah.
I'm sure he's doing well. Is he doing well?
Yeah, he would be doing well for sure. So I think he's working. I'm not sure. I believe Mourinho might be coaching Naples. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he is.
Yeah. And he was talking. I saw him talking about the other day. Lukaku saying he's a better player running with the ball rather than being the hold-up striker. Yeah. So apparently, when he was at United and also Chelsea, both managers were trying to make him like Drogba, the hold-up striker, and he's like, "That's not my game."
Yeah, I think I could see why they would think that. Just look at his build. He's a big, strong guy. So you'd assume that he could do that, and that he wouldn't gravitate towards running with the ball at his feet. But yeah,
Then you just got Haaland, who can do it all. Unreal.
man, he's better. Yeah, he's a better player than me, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Not by much though.
All right, brother. I want to get into our community Q&A now.
Oh yeah,
Because we got a few questions to get through.
Let's see what I say.
But the first question is, what has boxing taught you most about life?
Probably perseverance. There's a lot of losses, not even just like in the ring, just like you miss out. You miss out on a lot of things too, like going out with your mates. Like they might go to a party, but you'll be boxing like the next day. So like, you gotta miss it, and I think it's good. I think it's good that you make sacrifices, even though there's not like in the long run, it's not a big sacrifice. But in your mind, when you're a kid, you're like, you missed out on the party. I think it's a good stepping stone for later in life.
Yeah, and it helps stay away from that too when you got a mission.
Definitely. If you've got like a goal and you really want to, achieve something, it's good. You got to learn to say no to things.
Yeah, definitely. Our next one is, actually, I've already asked this. It was just like maintaining fitness with injuries or time in between fights. But like you said before, it just comes down to the plan you got given and working on that.
Yeah. Just if you're not sure what to do, ask someone. Get like if you've got like a personal trainer, just ask him. Say like, hey mate, this is what I'm dealing with. What can we work on? Or just even talk to your coach. And if you don't have like a personal trainer, just talk to your coach. Like, hey, what can I work on instead? He might just send you out for a run a couple times a week. It's better than just wasting away sitting on the bench and waiting for your hand to get better or whatever.
Yeah, it's true. Our next one is Commonwealth Games. So you got the best male boxer of the tournament. What impact did this have on your mindset?
Not good.
Yeah.
No, it was actually bad. When I won the tournament to qualify for the Commonwealth Games, it sort of put me in a position where I was unsure with what I want to do next.
Yeah,
because I was a bit confused. Yeah. There was I won. That's what I've been chasing for my whole life, like to win nationals, and I won it. But I felt very empty on the inside. I didn't feel like satisfaction or like an achievement. And I'd see other boys when they won, they'd be screaming, jumping up and down, and I was wondering like, why don't I feel like that? Yeah. So it took me a while to actually get back into the gym because I just had like questions I was trying to like figure out, like what's next for me, like why am I even doing this? I didn't even feel, it was almost like I was enjoying the chase, and then I got it, but I didn't really care. Like I've got it here now, so. Yeah, I'm not even sure what the question was.
It was like, what impact did that have on your mindset when the best male boxer? But I guess my question to follow up on that is, if that experience happened, what lessons could you apply when you win the British title and you win that? Like, what lessons could you apply from the last time you reached the milestone?
Man, now I'm curious. Like, one is if I do win the British title and it's the same thing again. Yeah. It's I don't know. Now I feel like we just open up a big box now, and I'm going to retire now.
Sorry,
am I
Benny.
doing this?
Sorry, Benny.
I'm moving back to Perth. I'm going to work in the mines. It was an interesting time though, because I felt like maybe that was probably I achieved what I wanted in the amateurs, and I feel like after I won the best male boxer, won the tournament, there was nothing left for me to achieve for my own goals. Me going to the Commonwealth Games was just like sprinkles on the top. It's just like bonus content.
Yeah, okay.
It's it wasn't what I was chasing, and so I think that's probably what took me a while to understand and accept, and just get back into the gym and realize, okay, well, I need what's next for me. Yeah, I knew the Commonwealth Games was coming up, but I had to think of like what's my next long-term plan, because my next long-term plan couldn't have been I'm going to go to the Commonwealth Games, because that's like 6 months away. Yeah. Because then once that's done, I'll be back at square one again of what's my next long-term plan. Yeah. So,
do you think would you say you're more goal-driven than achievement-driven? So you thrive more when you got a goal, you got a plan, you're working towards something, rather than hitting a milestone and sitting around like, all right, this is cool, that's enough.
Yeah, definitely. I think I like brushed up before. It's the chase. Just me putting all the right steps into getting where I need to be. And it's like when we win, or when I win personally, it's not a big celebration. It's because in my mind, it's almost like, without making it sound cocky, like that's what I was training for. I was trying to get the win. That was the plan. I should have expected that.
Yeah.
Because that's the mindset I try and go into a fight with. So I think that's why it's not an over the top celebration. Sometimes it'd be a bit of this, or maybe a hand, but I think that's more so in the pros now, because I feel like I've got to show that, like
you're happy with it.
I'm happy, because I think I had my first fight and my mum said, "You didn't look very happy." I was like, "Oh well, I'll smile next time."
It's true though, because you see someone like some people on the top of their game and professionalism. I always go back to football because it's something I relate with. But you look at Roy Keane when he talks about other footballers or even himself. He goes, he never really got too stoked about all the trophies that he won. Because he goes, well, a postman's meant to deliver post. A chef's meant to cook food. Yeah. I was just doing my job.
Yeah, I think that's how I saw it. Was and also the boy's just lost. Last thing he wants to see is me jumping up and down in his face,
doing cartwheels,
breaking the dance moves out, and he's consoling in the corner. Yeah. So I think it's probably an element of that too.
Yeah, because you are respectful. I think it was your last fight when you knocked the guy down, you just turned around straight away and walked to your corner. Yeah. Instead of getting in the guy's face or yelling at him.
Oh, that's the worst thing too. I think it's getting bigger too now, because I feel like a lot of people are just about views and clicks now. It's all for the media. It's all for the Instagram and stuff like that. You knock someone down, people are doing a dance in someone's face. Man, this guy's he's probably concussed right now. Last thing he needs is to see you doing an emote in his face. So I would never do that. If I do that, I'm sorry.
You are a character.
It was really out of character. I was probably concussed myself. But I think that's very. I don't know. I think talking about, I guess, back to Chris Eubanks, respect for the sport. It's I take it very seriously, and I know the boxing comes with serious consequences as well. That it can leave long lasting damage.
Yeah. Exactly. You want to respect yourself, but also other people.
Definitely. Yeah. After I knocked that boy down, once the ref waved it off, I've checked up on him. I make sure he's okay. It's weird. It's a weird sport, because I knocked him down with a big shot, and he got down. I've gone to the neutral corner. Personally, I didn't think the ref was going to let it continue. Yeah. And then he did, but I still have to go out there and hit the boy with more big shots, even though personally I think he's done. It's just that's just what my job is. Unfortunately the ref has to do his job. Yeah. And
try and give him a fair chance as well.
Yeah,
coming back.
And I can't let him survive, because he could come back into it and then possibly put me in that position. So you just got to take him out, and I don't know, you sort of distance yourself from the emotion of hurting someone. You don't think about it at all. But if I watch it back, I'm not oh yeah, that was a good shot on my part. That's probably not good for him.
Bit too far, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you even say to someone when you do knock him out or get a TKO? Is unlucky, or I've never actually even thought about this myself. What do you say to people?
I just ask her, are you all right?
Yeah.
How are you? You all right? How do you feel?
It's probably the best thing to do. Check in rather than saying unlucky or anything like that.
Should have kept your hands up.
Yeah.
Why'd you let me hit you with that? It's nothing needs to be said after anything out of spite, because the job's done. It's just a job. For me, it's a job. I think some people make it very personal. I think some people have to make it personal to. Yeah, it's all individual. Some people have to make it real personal to really motivate them, or
get them in a certain mindset.
Up. Yeah, some people get in a certain mindset. For me, it's just there's no thought, no emotion to it. It's just this is what I need to do right now.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Makes you sound like a robot, but
I like it.
Billy Smash.
Our next question is, here it is. So, when you have a world title fight, what do you reckon would be more satisfying, a first round KO or a dominant 12 rounds?
It'll be more satisfying having a dominant 12 rounds, but fine with a first round KO because it's less miles on the clock.
Get the job done.
Get the job done. You know, yeah, because you want the job done, but I guess like as a boxing purist, you know, you want to demonstrate like, you know, you shown that I'm world champion level. I haven't just caught you with one big shot.
One lucky shot, yeah.
You know, because you see boys like that before where they just get caught, and then in a rematch, I remember watching Lennox Lewis, and he got caught. Who did he get caught against? Was it Rockman? Regardless, he got caught with a shot that he shouldn't have. He lost his world title, came back, won the rematch. You know, but if it was a 12-round masterclass against Lennox Lewis, then there's nothing people can say. It can't be like, oh, you caught him with a lucky shot. It wouldn't happen again.
Like you actually went in for 12 rounds and won the fight from all different aspects.
Yeah.
Because like even if you do get a knockout, like even with McGregor when he knocked out Aldo in 13 seconds, it's incredible. But like people do say like, what if the fight lasted longer?
Yeah, yeah. You know, I guess like a perfect fight in my eyes would be 12 rounds, 10 rounds masterclass, and then you knock him out because you've done everything. You've put on a boxing display, you know, for everyone. You've shown all your tools, everything you can do, and then you just put them away too. That's like the cherry on top. Yeah,
definitely. My last question. This is one from me. I ask everyone. But what does success mean to you?
How would I define success? Or it's being satisfied with what I've achieved and what I've done. I'm not in a position right now to sit back and look at like everything I've achieved because, you know, probably worried that I'd feel like I'd get comfy and be like I've achieved. I've done enough. I've done enough. So I guess I don't know I guess if you do get the British title, I guess am I satisfied then? I don't know. So many things you could say. Have I achieved enough? Like, have I got enough money where I don't need to worry about working for the rest of my life? But I don't think we do it for the money really, because if we did, I could just go get a job in the mines and dig a hole 12 hours a day and retire probably by 40. Yeah. Instead of time, waste my time boxing.
Got a jet ski.
And it's I guess like there's probably like multiple things that would make me feel like I've made it and I'm successful. One of them would be like, I guess either like a legacy fight, like a fight against like a dream opponent, and like it being like a 12-round war, or another one would be like you said, like a 12-round masterclass where you just put on an absolute display, and there's no question or doubt that, you know, you're the real deal. And just being a part of boxing history, I guess, you know, not just someone who just took part, but someone who, you know, left the print. Yeah. You know, and that's hard because boxing's so big. There's so many, you know, larger than life people in there. You know, you've got like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's known around the world. Yeah. You know, so if I could get like, you know, a fraction of like the kind of notoriety that he got would be more than enough for me, I think. Yeah.
I like that, man. I'd like to do another potty in like 15 years. When it's all said and done. Have a reflection episode.
Up in the mines.
Yeah, up in the mines. Me, I'll be working with you.
How about yourself? What would you define for your success?
I think success to me, I think I've changed it recently just because I'm about to become a father. But I think just having like a happy family for me, man. Like me, my wife, and my kids, and try and raise them right and try and do the best things I can. And even for myself, like work on myself so I can be a good example to my kids. Yeah. I think giving my kids a good life would be success to me.
Is this your first kid, second?
Yeah, this is my first.
You're going to have many more?
Yeah, I want loads, but my wife's like, well, we'll see how many I get out and how she recovers.
What's the minimum?
She wants 3, and I was like, yeah, 3 is a good number.
Yeah, 3. Yeah.
So
any preference, boy, girl?
Well, this one's a boy that we're having. I'd like to have at least one of each gender. Yeah. But it'd be cool having like 2 boys, 1 girl, or 1 boy, 2 girls, but at least one of each. So I think it'd be cool, like as a dad, just walking your daughter down the aisle one day as well. And also a boy, like having the Project Steven Gerrard too. So yeah, that goes well.
Have you got a name picked out?
Yeah, Bobby.
I thought he was going to say Steven.
That's the next one. Billy, thanks for coming on, man.
Oh no, wicked. Cheers for having me.
Much appreciated.